I'm trying to run the different battery setup, so
Cool.
it fucked up on me in the past, and hopefully it doesn't today. But the audio, I'll figure it out either way. So
it's pretty
I don't
set.
if you people. I have so many people that'll just come on, and like I've been aiming for like 2 or 3 a week.
Nice.
But I mean, whatever happens. But
Definitely, you want to have a consistent pace, but also fill in all your other projects.
yeah, and not like overthink it or anything like that, and
Totally.
like be pressured to like. Right now, it's still enjoyable to have like pursue people to get on and everything like that. So, but I was gonna say this is like the first female guest.
Oh,
so
really?
like,
Sweet.
I don't want to like. And you asked if there's any question. I don't want to like put, but the first introduce yourself in whatever way you want to.
Sure.
I don't know, just so that's like out of the way and people essentially know who is sitting here. But
Awesome.
try and sit forward.
I'll say to you. Okay. Should I say to the camera?
No. Honestly, like it's whatever. No, yeah, like.
No, that's cool. Yeah, Sara Ivanisevic, from London, really focused on just being a good coach, running OEB Fitness with a lot of other partners and people, and owning 50% of the company really drives me to keep it a long-term plan. So I'm really excited to launch new things for the community, and I just focus my energy on how can I help other people and serve other people, have that purpose, and just like changing lives, but like changing my own life along the way. And I think realizing that like burnout's a real thing, and finding ways that you can, work like 4 hours a day.
Yeah, totally.
And feel like, okay, that's, that's enough for me, right? You don't have to, battle that chase for all the hours, although like we've both done that, building as you go.
So how's owning a gym? I mean, like I asked that because it's forever evolving, and that's something that obviously we have in common, but like where are you at with what you see yourself with a gym in the future, or like now, anything?
Oh, well, I'm really stoked just to own a gym. I feel like it's not what I really expected. I feel like I when I was younger, starting training when I was 18, I didn't really envision owning a gym. It was just like, I want to be a personal trainer. I want to help people. But, you kind of cap when you're working 10, 12-hour days, like back to back. You're like, hey, what's next? How do I get out of, 80K or whatever it might be?
Was that the next? You're like, let me think about getting a gym. Like, was that the next course of events, you think? Obviously it was, but like,
I
planned?
feel like it just kind of like streamlined that way. There's so many opportunities that just kept shooting. And I feel like I'm also a very lucky person, and I work on myself a lot and do different projects and achievements. So it just kind of organically grew, moving different phases and sizes makes a big impact. But recognizing that it's so much more than just fitness. And I'm really getting passionate about like goal setting and like mentoring and counseling. So I am in school actively right now, and
cool.
like taking some things that over years with university. I just want to be like a better leader, and like a better speaker, and a better writer.
So speaker, have you done like podcasts before or anything like that?
Well, I've been like Rogers, CTV News, like lots of different like things like that.
Okay, so that's like pretty. Sort of. So in terms of just like speaking publicly, lending it to that.
I think I just always have loved that. So I've done, different feminism chats, valedictorians, like sport team leaders. Like I've just always wanted to find ways to like build that chant, or like build that like edge. Cause I feel like as a person, I kind of like stand out in a different like aspect.
Sure.
So I want to add that flair and know that like every person is special that's like in that crew. So whoever's in, the coaching in this facility in Showtime, and whoever's at OEB Fitness, like, once that one unit's gone or moved somewhere else, like it's not the same.
Yeah, totally.
Anymore,
no, it changes
right?
the dynamics for sure. And it's just a matter of like not necessarily replacing, but getting the new dynamic, or like we're going through a lot of that here because we're just slowly evolving from, I don't say less of it, but offering more like from a wellness, like more active rehab, and trying to incorporate that, and just like changing the environment for the better for everyone. And that's just a gym in general, just like even building on, again, I'll walk you through after, but just like how it evolves and changes and
100%
forever. So do you ever see yourself having like a podcast or anything like that? Like not necessarily, I say podcast because obviously that's just like what fallen into my lap just by, right place, right time, then having the resources, but you scratch the itch enough like talking at those different things than having like a set, I guess I use the word podcast, but like
I I'm not sure if I'll totally participate in that, like a reoccurring weekly, but I think like a monthly or something that would be cool. I think like I'm trying to aim more of my focus on building like a community center, like
cool.
gym that would have like different meditation rooms or like prayer rooms or like a restaurant and different things that can cater to more than just the fitness. And like, I think that podcast though, like for your image, like this facility is so amazing.
It's perfect, but it's also like you can't plan it either, you know, like you couldn't, even if I said it before, I was like, even if you were to like, okay, I want to have a podcast and like get a space and do this and do that and like have a set plan for it, there's always just stuff that you just can't make happen unless it just happens on its own too.
Like keeping that creativity and like your own self feeling like fully charged, not like working is so key because it's just gonna, you know, be a turbulence if they notice like, oh, you're doing too many a week, you don't really know about this person enough, you're not prepped or whatever, right?
Sure. So what did kind of bouncing around, what did you like, how was COVID for you as a gym owner? Like, do you feel like you did a good job navigating it, or I mean, that's probably a rhetorical question because you always
pivoting to online, really adjusting to like standards and stuff was really important to me, following regulations. But as you're doing more research and understanding things, I'm totally on the opposite spectrum now, working on social justice and different things that I can participate in order to make sure that this is awareness of this, right? Like I'm not going to speak too deeply on that.
And that's like, you know, even me, and it's just like you can never please everyone, and you always just like at the end of the day do what's best for you and your business, and then that kind of is what lets us sleep at night, I'm sure. Like
totally. But I do feel like, you know, I had different ways of reaching out to customers. I had 3 times a week. We had like bi-weekly phone calls, different ways of like platforms of like tracking their you know, body mass index and all these other things that are going to make a long-term development. It was more or less just having the client participate because everyone's going through these social anxieties or changes in their life, right? So like half the people are not, you know, there. You're paying coaches, your payroll's off, like things are just like not making sense number wise. But I do think it's cool because like find different ways to find revenue, stay busy. Like I did, you know, never would give up on OEV or like anywhere I'm going with that. So for me, I was really driven, but there was a lot of gyms that kind of like faded off or like didn't work through the cheers, like closed,
like right? Adapt. And I said it once, and it's like it's kind of maybe too, but it's hard to feel bad for people or like business owners that don't pivot and like figure it out. And,
totally.
And then, you know, so do you think those things that you added in during COVID, do you think a lot of those will stay?
I learned a lot of things. I do feel like it's definitely a niche of people that want to work online and ways that worked and other like apps that I need to take out or different meal plans or like mentors that I wanted to like guide me in the right direction and the team. So I definitely would apply some, but at the same time, like I'm trying to get people in the door because I actually want to build like a place of like 100 people in the room. We can hang out, hey, I'm online. All that's like, you know, I want to have like 8 to 10 different revenue sources. So online is offered, and I want to just say no when I have coaches that can fill that, you know, void. Totally. And I think it's cool. Like now I've like, or we've implemented OEV at home, like follow along videos and then also like raw mods and or like mobility videos. So I think like that's good also for just an add-on value.
To just add to your catalog of stuff that you offered, like whatever on the website or from the gym or stuff like that. It's
exactly. So that just like gives more value for the normal memberships. I'm like, you know what, in a nutshell, I learned a lot about myself. I like doing calls on Zoom and phone calls more as like in person where it saves me time. I can like hang out with my dog and cat and just chill. And I think, it helped me also build a lot of systems for coaching because it was harder to communicate and participate in like, how am I going to launch off, like dispatch this new client to them? What are their expectations? So it was just like, I feel like that was the most stressful of it. And a lot of like my own personal life was changing with like sold my house, bought a new house, all these different things.
Yeah, I saw. Did you like just recently? Like, did you just? I saw that. Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. It's sweet because I had bought it last year, and then I had.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, squatters wouldn't leave, and I had like moved around waiting for them to get out with the, you know.
That's a thing.
Right. So lame, but it happened. So.
Really.
Yeah. So I'm in now, which is awesome, and it's.
And it was a process to like. Wait, what? So you bought it? I don't know how much is it like. So you bought it and then were people already squatting in there before that?
No, so it was just renters. They thought they were gonna like participate to be like, hey, notice. But then and like I did the walkthrough, like they had a normal like open house to buy. And then it was like 3-month close. And then once that came, they weren't out.
No way.
Yeah, it was so wild. So I was bouncing around for a bit, but it's a good experience, and now like it makes me value the house more because I'm like, oh, it worked out. Like,
yeah,
no
totally. So are you in there now? Are you moved in and stuff like that?
I got some more items to move through, but like
there. I guess Pets
are there. I'm there. Yeah.
Cool. Nice. So are
you? Are you like near here?
No, we're like Hyde Park.
Oh,
so
cool.
It's not too bad. It's like I'm back and forth so much, and like it's not bad. I mean, it takes me 10-15 minutes to get there and back.
And this is your second home.
Yeah, it's like super easy for us to be here. Like Kilo's here pretty much all day with us. I mean, it's literally a home away from home. So it's like, and it's separate from the gym. So I can be totally disconnected like from the gym, opposed to like having an office in the gym when it's just like not the same. Like I can. Yeah, it is like almost a second home. So we're at Hyde Park, and it's not too bad, but
nice. And they got beautiful homes out there, so I can see why you'd want that.
Yeah, I eventually want to be like outside. I want like property and just kind of like have enough of what you need, and then just lots of property for animals and toys and stuff. So, but that's
I was born on a farm. I own a station, so I really value like country living and like
in like around here.
Yeah, so like 20 minutes away, and then I also have a trailer that's an hour away on the lake, which is awesome, Lake Erie. So I definitely value going outside of the city, but it's like having a blend of city girls and country girls.
I liked because we lived downtown, like right on Dundas, above like the strip, like in. It's either like I love like that. It's not always like time and place, but I love that and just people watching just as much I think as I would like. Out in the country with not seeing people and having no neighbors. So.
Totally. Dualities, making sure there's like that yin and yang.
And even here is good because you interact with so many people like at a gym and just even more so like owning the gym and stuff. So
yeah, I feel like I don't even need a social life outside of my life basically.
I'm not even, like I wouldn't consider myself like an overly social person in general. Like I'd much rather chill out at home and whatever.
Especially when you're like, hey, I have like 3 hours to myself.
Yeah,
in
no
kidding. Entire
kidding.
day, sometimes blocked out in segments. It's like people as business owners, like they don't realize like where's their head at, how many directions are we being pulled constantly. Plus you're trying to like cater to like your small like 3 or 4 people who you actually talk to.
Yeah, no, totally. And just even the network that comes along with and everything.
Yeah.
Are you in the gym? What's your day to day like as far as gym goes?
So my day to day right now, so I've been doing a lot of early mornings. So I'll wake up 4 to 5 a.m. and I'll meditate for about an hour. I'll go to the gym. Now on my schedule, I'm there like 3 or 4 days a week. I'll do either 6 a.m.s and weekends of workouts.
So wait, I'm going to go, you meditate every morning for that long?
Yeah, and multiple times through the day.
Really?
Yes.
For how long have you been doing that? A while?
So I've only been doing the 4 a.m.s for maybe like 7-8 months.
Okay, still.
Yeah.
So every 7 days a week.
Oh yeah, even on I always try to wake up like maybe once a month. If you're having that gnarly.
Have you
day,
not done it and noticed or no? Like, have you missed a morning?
I value it so much. It's like you taking away like a meal. Like it's like it's just become something where I'm like, I light candles. I put on like frequency music or just instrumental music or whatever. Even like Dallas Green, something that's like very neutral.
Cool.
Just get in headspace. Like I like when there's no lyrics. I feel like it allows me to just kind of like do mantras or like affirmations or even just like ideas. Like this is when creative like work comes through. If I had a really stressful day before, sometimes it allows me to have that clarity of like, okay, like this is gonna branch to there, like
Cool.
So I really enjoy that.
Okay, so so that's a more productive morning than I'll ever have already. So
I'm a weirdo. I actually enjoy it. I go to church now, in and out like once or twice a week. Even if I don't make it in there in person, I'll watch things on Zoom that are recorded online from a couple different churches that I value. But it's not really like church. Like I just want to like new age spirituality and find ways to like in tune that with goal setting, because I feel like I was saying with like meditation rooms or even just having a study room with like you can't talk in this room. Because people don't have mindful minutes, right? And if you could block a 15-minute and throw that into like a challenge, hey, you're gonna do this twice a week, just think about clarity that might come through.
For sure.
Your phone, like there's just so many things.
I've never done that, so it's like but I could totally see where that value comes from. From being from like I would say my main problem is like just never being able to shut off as far as like always having something to do, you know, and I feel like maybe that's something. So,
it makes a massive difference. Even if you just work on breath work, even if you just started like 10 minutes a day after you brush your teeth.
It's like, what was that app? I downloaded an app like 2 years ago and never used it. It was one of them. 10%.
There's Calm app. There's
Calm. I think it was Calm.
Yeah, there's a few.
I don't know which one it was, but I was like, I'll do that. Like just 10, 15 minutes. Like but
Headspace.
Headspace. That was it.
That was a good one. I like with the different bubbles and stuff.
It was Headspace now that I remember it.
Nice. Yeah, I've done that one too. And I went through, I think, like a 21-day startup or something.
Yeah, that's exactly. No, that's what I signed up for. And I was like, and I didn't get anywhere.
Right? Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not that.
No, I feel like
you gotta
when
be
you start
motivated.
realizing like the universe is you, like you're me and I'm you, and like all of this is us. Like it's such a weird way to look at it. But I just like that time to just like step back.
Yeah.
And I also like going to bed early and like waking up early because anything that's coming in after 10 o'clock is probably not like a good outlet.
So is 10? What time you go to bed then?
Ish.
10?
Yeah.
And you still get up that early?
Oh yeah, like sometimes 9, 10, like. Sometimes 11, if you're having like a good, like twice, once a month, like you got to meet up with someone or whatever you're doing, right? But I try to be like super consistent with that because I feel like when I put others first or like break anything that I said, like I'm going to stick to, I'm like, it kicks me in the ass later.
For sure.
Why did I do that? It wasn't even worth it.
Yeah. And that's like probably what I've just gotten too comfortable with letting myself be okay with just getting the Headspace app and never using it, so
but that's like everyone, like that's why I want to build these systems. But yeah, so I'll do that. I'll go to the gym depending at 6 a.m. or I'll stay home, I'll walk outside or even just like spend time with the dog.
Do you work out in the morning? Is that what you mean? Like you
so I've
train
transitioned.
Early?
I used to be doing more afternoons. I do BJJ like once a week is the goal. Kickboxing, like it's kind of like I used to do it a lot. But
do you go down to Adrenaline? Or no, at your club?
Yeah, no, I'm at Adrenaline. I have my blue shorts and blue belt now, so that's great.
Crazy. I'm just I guess it's been a little bit, but just boxing. Like that's just like cardio boxing and like I've never done any kind of like combat sports, let alone like mixed martial arts. So it's been like a pretty big learning curve. Again, you're pointing all this stuff out.
Yo, it's
I haven't gone in like a month. I'm going for the first time on Friday.
Message your
back
coach,
in a
it
while.
definitely helps.
I did. I'm back in on Friday, but it's
I'm
like
going Fridays too. I'm going at 11. What time are you going? I'm gonna start going
11.
Yo,
I think I'm in at 11 on Friday.
Okay, then I'll see you.
That's hilarious. I'm not back for X amount of time. And like, what are the chances of that?
Fridays 11 and 12 or just 1. Depends. Like, because also I'm doing like CrossFit like 3 or 4 days a week. I don't want to burn out.
It's hard, especially with that. Like, even the just boxing aspect of it is still nothing probably compared to like.
No,
I'm just afraid to get.
I'm
afraid. Yeah, but I'm afraid to get hurt or something like that. Like
you'll get out of that though. Like you get like just a new rush when you start getting more confident with slips, rolls, and like actually getting through combos. And
God. Yeah, no, I'm kind of. Yeah, I believe you.
To feel like okay, I'm kind of do this.
Because when I get it, when I go in there with Chris, I'm like, man, you must just think I'm an idiot. Because it's like, and he's awesome. Like he's he's such a good teacher when it comes to that. But I'm like, man, you must just think I'm an idiot because I can't like, you tell me such. Yeah, I know he says that too, but I'm like, the biggest frustration for me is like not being able to remember what he's telling me.
Well, it's feeling silly and cognitively, it actually is quite challenging.
Yeah,
like, people
for
don't
sure.
Recognize you're like you say a 4 combo.
It better be, or I'm just an idiot.
Now you're thinking 12 things in a row. Plus you're like not like comment with it. It's really I think it's just like rewarding.
Yeah. No. Once you get it, and once you're done, and once everything hard work like that is always like worth it. So CrossFit, So is that how you train mostly when it comes to like? I guess that would that be
recently.
Like
yeah. So like I'm really on a good regimen. I check into classes. I follow like programming and have like a couple coaches. I feel like I actually look at them like you got to take this serious. Like we're competitions now. Like we have 50 people like legitimately coming consistently about it. Especially as like Functional Fitness of Canada is going to be in the Olympics next year. Plus CrossFit, like we're a CrossFit Eat Sleep CrossFit is my affiliate with everyone, which is awesome. So to me, like I want to ingrain good patterns. Like I'm really tired of seeing boot camps or things, and I'm like people are throwing weights around. Like I'm like, what are you doing here? Yeah. And half the coaches out there are not even good coaches, in my opinion.
No, for sure. Yeah. There's always the bad coaches will definitely outnumber the ones that deserve to be coaches. I'm sure, not I'm sure, but that's definitely the case. So,
but everyone wants different things, right? Like I used to do a lot of hypertrophy, a lot of bodybuilding. I respect that. I love machines. I love what you're doing here. I used to go to Good Life all the time. Really liked it because it was good. Put your music on, like crush it out.
Yeah. It's kind of nice. Even here, I feel like, there'll be those people who always have it at the core. But it's good. Like even myself, and like I think things are evolving too, just from like doing a lot more like functional stuff. And even myself, I've seen myself like progress like physically and just overall capability so much more.
Yeah.
When I dropped all the like bodybuilding style stuff and kind of incorporated, like it's funny how things just you respond that much better than just changing it up from what you've been doing for the past like X amount of time. So
and you're like just graining in the same patterns. I feel like it's easy to get in the same things, and then you're tightening the same muscles. So if you don't have that flexibility, stability, all these other things, you're just gonna fall apart or break apart. And then you're out for 3 months. But and I used to do powerlifting. I used to be big into programming with that. But I just like functional fitness now, like integrating all of it into one different.
Just problem solving, kind of what works with everyone. So you're even the CrossFit like aspect of it is, and forgive my ignorance, like is it the main goal to like bring a team to a competition or something like that?
Yeah, so we're actively doing that now. Billy and Lacey run that primarily through Eat Sleep CrossFit. So we send our athletes to different facilities that are running competitions in CrossFit.
So they go there for
and represent OAV.
But they'll train at your place all the time.
All the time, yeah. So like we give them additional hours, things for the people who pay additional membership fees to be a part of this club. They worked on things like getting jogging suits. We want to work on chants and different things that are going to elevate so that we can be more of a sport, especially as this launches into the Olympics.
So how many like of those said competitions are there?
So
like,
they vary like every couple months. Like you can find ones. You either can do like solo ones, partner ones, or like 4 people. Those are like really strong niches, whether they're like all one sex or whatever, or if they're combined. So it's nice that we have some serious athletes that are looking to evolve, especially with CrossFit. Like as you change age and stuff, you have different amount of people to compete against. So that's kind of cool.
So at any of those competitions at any given time, how many of your team would be there?
Yeah, so like because of COVID that just got like kind of loosened up, we've just sent a few athletes recently. I think like 5
at one event kind of thing.
So one was like 2, the other one was like 2 or 3, and then we've had some like online events throughout COVID that you just send videos in.
Are they mainly in Canada? Is it a North America thing or a worldwide thing, or like essentially can you send anyone anywhere?
So with functional fitness that's launching with like Lacey and her team and all of that, we will be doing like a yearly somewhere in Europe or wherever it's launching the event. So it'll be really cool. It's just kind of amping up for 2023.
So is that a big goal of your own to be like?
No, my biggest goal is to currently I want to be finishing theology, working on infrastructures for modules that I can teach more volumes of people and run different systems in the business that will like stay there long term.
Okay, cool.
And then just do like regular seminars and chatting so that I can work like.
But even specifically CrossFit pertaining to your training.
Sure,
like, do you want to be on like elite CrossFit athlete?
So I don't think
or are you already? I don't know. Maybe you are, and I like.
So I do a lot of RX workouts. So like that, like you have different levels of like your weights and suggestions. There's like RX plus, RX blah blah blah. Anyways, in a nutshell, for my age, like I am a competitive athlete. I would say in Canada maybe top 20%.
Yeah.
But I'll know actually within 3 weeks where I land because the Open starts on Thursday.
Really?
This Thursday, yeah. So it's 3 weeks, 3 workouts. You can do the workout as many times as you want, but you put in a leaderboard, submit it.
At your facility, you just have
Everywhere
to have
in the world.
You just have to have it like.
It's in our facility on Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays. But we launch it through all our members.
And that's like an official time to kind of do those workouts or anything like that?
Yeah.
Like that?
So the way that it works is Thursday nights, they launch the workout. Then you have until Monday night to submit it.
Okay, I got it. So how many workouts will be? It'll just be one workout.
But like everyone will just kind of like train their programming around it. Like for me, and I've done it different times, and I've gotten injured during it because you're like over pushing.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, I typically just train 3 days a week for those weeks and then just do it one time. Where some people, like most CrossFit athletes, will train like 2, 3, 6 hours in one day and by breaking them up.
But you don't necessarily, it's hard. I guess that's part of CrossFit, right? Is not knowing necessarily what the workout's going to be.
Yeah.
Like you kind of just have to condition yourself for everything. And then like, so if it comes out on Thursday night and you have until Monday, whatever, when will you do it?
So
like Sunday night or Friday morning? Or?
Yeah. So I'm going to do them on Saturdays. We have like, you have to book in. It's all like organized so that we can make sure that we have like, cause you have to get judges certs and the right people to see your reps and confirm them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm doing them Saturday. All of our members are doing them Friday. And then we have like a makeup day on Sunday for anyone's like, oh, my score was shit. I want to do this again.
Does that happen often?
Oh yeah. Like everyone's hard on
if you don't like your outcome on Saturday, will you like do it again on Sunday?
Oh God, no. Because I know like my capacity and tolerances, and I'm just like in comparison to what I've done, it's like to me, it's not worth it to be like 5 more reps. Like no, I'd rather recover, like get my head in the game for the next one.
So when will the next one be though? Like the following week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. You can like watch as each workout, like you come different places. Like the one year, like it used to be 5 weeks, but it was like 3 weeks in, and I was like top 5%, and I was like cloud 9, like so excited. And then you do one shitty WOD and you just like drop down. Like,
really?
less,
yeah.
You know?
So that, how long, you might have just said this. How long is this one?
So like it's one workout and you don't know the length of time. Like it could.
Weeks long.
Oh, 3 weeks, 3 workouts.
Okay.
And then you advance. If you get into the top like 10% or whatever it might be, then you advance so that you can go to like the next level.
So this is worldwide?
Yeah, worldwide. Starts this Thursday.
No way.
Yeah. So you can like watch stuff like posted. You'll see like things online. Yeah.
Wow. So that's
good time.
Ironic. Yeah, no kidding. Like it's and then you get a good, is that their way of just, does you finishing in, so it's 3 weeks and then you can possibly qualify for
so
next?
Like as you evolve, like you'll go to Can East or Can West, depending on, like we go to Can East, and then you'll actually compete there, and like the idea is like you'll go to auditoriums and
so that's kind of the step one in getting to like a stage type of thing.
So and you like work through, but like
so when will East be?
I actually don't know. They moved
like some other time in the year.
No, it's like a few weeks out. Like, and also with COVID, I'd have to confirm. I should know this offhand,
That's
but
still
they've
tough
changed
though.
the
Like
dates a lot.
if you go 3 weeks and then don't know.
No, so like every week, like if you are done, I believe it's if you're done the 3rd week, you do a couple more additional weeks, and then if you pass that, then you're
it's like a couple months from then you'll jump on the So that,
and then the summer they'll have like the official like top 20, 40 people or whatever.
So it's kind of this general one, then like East or West, and then the top from the East or West go to the big, like the final one. So
exactly. So it's cool. Yeah, it's really sweet. And like they do it like worldwide. So like for the 3 weeks, everyone can participate. Whether you're even like 60 years old and doing body weight, like you can do it. And then you can say, hey, I'm
I'm for sure
50% of the world. Like,
totally.
Like which is cool for someone who's old and just have nothing else to look forward to.
Yeah, well, I guess.
Or whatever,
yeah. So I just want to, so you go, if you qualify from those 3 weeks, what do they call that? Like that 3 weeks? Is that just
qualifiers.
Like qualifiers? So if you go qualifiers East or West, that's only Canadians.
And it's like the CrossFit Games 2023. So you'll
Canada?
See of the world. It's like the world's fittest woman, the world's fittest man.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what you're aiming for. So like, there's stages to evolve to make sure that the best people are actually there rather than having too many people. And then you're like, wow, like you could see like half of them like can't even do like a butterfly pull up, and you're like, you don't deserve to be here. You got to wean those out. But anyone at a Candice game is fucking awesome. So
I imagine. Just to like get through that. Yeah, like that's what I was saying in the last one. It's like I would love to do like because I've been so intrigued by like incorporating, I'd say functional training. I won't even kind of throw it in the CrossFit category yet. Yeah. But I'm like terrified. I would be terrified of going through a CrossFit workout. Just in general.
Yeah, I would just start with like 7 minutes, as many reps as possible, and just do like a wall ball thruster, and you'll just feel the heat. And like, It's basically similar to just doing a boot camp class, but like really staging yourself to be like, okay, I'm a consistent pace. I'm not stopping. And that's the challenge. Well, that's cool.
Train behind us. Yeah, it's like, it is what it is. I can't, yeah. So, would it be an ultimate goal to get to those like CrossFit games?
That would be awesome because I'll be a matured athlete. I'm 31 almost. But yeah, like a few more years. Oh yeah? I'm 91.
Yeah.
Same. Really? When's your birthday?
October.
Okay, so what's your sign?
I don't know.
What? You don't know?
No. It's actually, you know what? No. It's changed, I think.
No.
Yeah, mine changed from like, yeah, I swear it did.
What? We should Google it right now. We need to figure out what you are.
I will. It's like, I'm pretty sure it changed. Didn't they change at one point?
No. It should just be like a cutoff day. Like whatever you Googled is probably pretty accurate to what it should be.
I thought I was a Libra at first.
Yeah.
Why? Is that relevant?
It could be. I definitely believe in astrology and like different things that definitely have
what is it called?
Reasons.
Just
up? Like write your birthday in and then just write zodiac sign.
Oh, zodiac sign.
Yeah. Zodiac sign, your birthday. And then it'll just tell you.
Let's see. Libra.
Yeah, you are.
Fuck, I thought I changed out of a Libra for some reason.
Nice.
I swear someone, anyways, yeah.
No, that's good.
What's Libra mean?
I mean, I'm not a Libra, so I don't know all the details.
So I'm supposed to know what it means?
Yeah, I guess you're going to Google it later and be like,
I don't know if I want to know.
That's accurate as fuck.
That's hilarious.
No, that's cool.
I want to do it. I got to get into, I got to come down there one day and just do like a CrossFit workout because I feel like I watch those like the fittest on earth type of thing and I'm like, that has slowly become, and
it's one of the fastest growing sports in the world. Same with MMA.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like but they are having this, kickback because they've made so many changes in CrossFit. They've had different, people involved in the community. They've let people go in their community who are really big assets and mentors to people. So it's tough seeing them to pivot, but at the same time, it's like grain of salt. They got to make profit. Things happen. Every way you look at it.
But I find that like, especially where I'm at now, a lot more impressive than. I think it comes. They each have their own, but then like Olympia bodybuilder. I don't know. I might eat my words saying that, but like yeah, totally. And just like just impressiveness, I guess. Like seeing what those people at that ultimate and probably much before that highest level are like doing. I'm like, fuck, I don't think I could do that.
Totally.
But then it's like that in itself is like a test to yourself. It's like maybe I can. Yeah. But it's like I don't know.
You can achieve anything, and I totally agree. Like there's just so many different things you can do to manipulate your body and how you feel. I do like CrossFit because it's allowing you to really be well rounded in the strength and like really promoting mobility and like doing things efficiently.
Yeah, you have to be able to. Otherwise, you probably just do run yourself, or like that's where people start getting injured and stuff like that. Is not like keeping up with your
and not everyone wants to always like skip or just like run on a treadmill, right? Like it's nice to be like, oh, I'm gonna do dumbbell snatches, like something that you wouldn't normally kind of apply and feel that like.
Who's the highest ranked or whatever at your facility? Do you have one?
Athlete-wise?
Yeah, you?
So no.
Really?
No. I mean, I'm a great athlete at my gym for sure, but I take credit. Like Lacey True Love is an amazing athlete.
I don't know if I know. Maybe I know her.
She used to be a coach out of West London CrossFit for like 7 years. And I did some classes with her, met her there. She's really cool.
That's not the one that just closed, right? Or is it?
No, that was CrossFit London. Too bad.
Is it? I don't know. I don't mean that like rhetorically.
No, I mean it's too bad for them.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like they've been around the longest.
That's what seems to be the like. Like they've been around for so long, but it's almost.
But it was close to us, so I'm like, oh, well, we'll get some leads. But in a nutshell, not that many leads. Like I'd rather have just had them open and had more people in the community. Yeah. But like people burn out or like people don't.
Next chapter, totally. And that's kind of what makes it like understandable being around for so long, I guess, for them. But how many places in London are there that like are CrossFit affiliates?
I think honestly, there's like 3 right now because some of them dropped out, and some of them still have like CrossFit certs and stuff like that of coaches, but they're not paying that,
Is that a low number compared to like?
Yeah, that's pretty low. Like for our
city-wise,
ratios of population, that's pretty awesome to leverage, to just think of like having longer attrition of customers because they want to get to that next level, so that you, instead of having a customer for 6 months or whatever, you're actually getting them for 10 years.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Which makes a massive impact. And that's why I really want to work into having these other like community aspects to be like a social hub for people. But we'll get there.
Yeah, it's one thing at a time. It's like you can't even like imagine how it's going to happen until it kind of like falls into place and just like do the work to kind of hopefully let it fall into place one day, I'm sure.
Yeah. So that's cool. No, I definitely am passionate about CrossFit and MMA and just like personal development.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I spend a lot of my days like going back notch here, on the phones a lot, doing sales calls. People will book through, and I'll do all like the sales conversations because it's just really systemized. I'm good with objections.
You like that? And
yeah. I'm pretty like passionate about like talking to people and like knowing a lot of how the business runs, like working with conversation as it kind of moves. But I do want to like work on making better, coaches, like handbooks and things that are going to allow to be like, here's the sales policy.
Yeah.
So that I can be away and not have to be.
That's good though. That's like, no, I couldn't feel you more. Yeah. No kidding. Yeah. So you don't have many, do you have clients? Did you have clients now?
Yeah. So, not currently, and I'm not like locked into anything. Sometimes I'll do like some onboardings and I'll do like on ramps. So 3 or 5 sessions with someone.
Yeah.
So it's nice I can build that connection, trust, and likability with them, and then pass them on to class or like someone else. But that was just like kind of bridge gap. Like I don't like being stuck in anything.
Same. That's like me. I even just today I was contemplating like, I have 1 or 2 that are probably more friends than clients, but like I have two clients, but I go in waves, and it's like, even then I'm like, I hate to say this, but I'm like, okay, at this point I don't want clients right now. Exactly. And then like, you'll shift and be like, okay, I got a couple hours in the morning. Like it's worth it. I should, get some back in, but it's always curious to see like what the day-to-day like roles are. And cause that doesn't necessarily like aid or, benefit the gym as a whole, me training clients. Obviously it puts money in my pocket, but it's like, could you be doing, better stuff elsewhere? Or not better stuff, because like what's better than just like one-on-one with the client? Nothing really, you're helping people and like.
No, I think like it's really great. I did have a few that I was like doing pads with, or like doing a strength phase with, or all these stuff. I like just like at least getting people who don't know some like starters. And then like the creativity is there instead of getting dry and writing programming. Like I can feel how that can be monotonous.
Totally.
And then I also go into the gym midday, so I'll like have management meetings or Zoom meetings. I'll connect with like Jacob or Dan or like some of the team. Trying to systemize some of those so they're everyday daily huddles, whether they're 5 minutes or an hour of just like working through things so that you can have like homework. Almost.
Yeah, sure. That's like I don't have any of that really because it's just all me. Like essentially the trainers work for themselves, so there's this like disconnect, this rightful disconnect that I'm not. They pay rent. They're they don't have an obligation to hold anything up to me or like meet expectations on my end other than just being like a respectful, clean person, but there's not like, hey, you doing this today? And then even owner wise, it's all kind of just me. So
that sounds like the dream.
I guess, but like, it is.
It's just different. I think like it's easier for you in a sense that way because like with having group classes and people that don't have accountability,
I don't have
you're like, what do I do with this?
Sure. I don't have all those like all the other like aspects of like a bigger gym, like, a bigger like operation. Yeah. So, and I've slowly been able to like grow and if I had all this thrown at me at once, it'd probably be overwhelming. But the fact that it's like, I've been able to move on to the next phase as I'm comfortable with like the previous one, just kind of how things fell into place. But
I love that. You got a great reputation. Like you're busy.
Slowly but surely. I think that's like what's been good for us is just being able to like take our time and like not be, just grow proportionately until
be organic with it. Like you don't need to live in pressure all the time. Like I feel like I personally am a bit of an overachiever or have expectations of myself. So and I have team members that are on my ass, which is kind of nice. It's just finding a balance of like, how am I actually going to get to that, next 3 years? Like what's going to happen there? So
So what's your ultimate goal for the next 3 years? Kind of just implement all these different systems and just evolve it. You probably don't have, it's probably just a matter of implementing one thing at a time and seeing what the big picture looks like after that.
Yeah, I just want to be a really good leader. I want to just refine my speaking, communication skills. I feel like I lack in listening. I feel like I could benefit from better question asking of people who come in and have different problems, and just mediating, like, do we need to focus on change? Do we need to focus on your nutrition, or is it sleep? Like, is it your fitness, or like, is it your stress that's causing you all these problems outside of this 3 hours a week that I see you?
Yeah. Totally, and being able to offer that in any of the ways that you said would be.
Yeah, I just want to trigger people, whether that's good or bad, right? Because that's just a reflection of themselves, really.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Yeah,
for sure.
So working that in, I'm not everyone's cup of tea, so I also want to find ways that I can maybe tame mine or be like a little more neutral, because I have my own little quirks.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like the epitome of like this. Even is like, if people don't, then who's that on? Like,
I want to be real. Like, to me, that's really important to me, to just not lose my like authenticity and like what I care about. And don't let everyone like frame you into this, specific cultural way, or
Yeah, no kidding. That's like it's what's I've been able to like isolate that from this podcast even more, is like, I'm not one, I've said this so many times already, but I'm not one to like ever talk into my phone or like be outspoken necessarily, but like this is something completely different, where there's no expectations, there's no like, even after the first minute, it just becomes this conversation that like anyone else would have outside of like sitting down in an environment that's you've scheduled time to have a conversation. So
totally,
it's cool that way, where you can just like be natural in an environment.
Yo, for sure. And it feels that way. Like, it doesn't feel forced. Like, I like that the questions aren't like specific or.
Yeah, I just like the day, like, it's funny because even like, I guess there's going to be, I was thinking of when the day comes that I'll like, because I don't want to also insult anyone by not like, doing research or like having these like talking points out. And it's like, I just don't. When I start thinking about that, it's just like, that's not what this is. This is supposed, if I ran into you anywhere else or downstairs or whatever, it would just be whatever would, the conversation would be. So, but I was like, when's going to be the first time I have someone in here where I have to like, not have to, because at that point, if I feel like I'm having to do it, then it's like forced, but when I'm going to feel, compelled to like do research and like make sure that I don't come off like as a dummy, or
totally,
and
I'm
like,
someone more exclusive or comparing to like different people they've worked with or whatever.
Just
right?
If they're set professionals in whatever field, it's like, then I think to myself, it's like, I'm just here to learn. So if I'm a curious person, I just ask what I would. If it comes off like no
one should judge anyone for literally any reason. Yeah. Like, people have all their reasons, and everyone's gonna think you're badass. Look at their face.
I guess, but I don't care. Right, it's just like it is what it is. It's like, do you have any like? This is one thing that because I have some other like, businesses or like interests. Do you have any like thing outside of the gym or other business ideas, or scratch business, hobbies, interests that are like obscure? Like, I think motorcycles, right?
Yeah, I do like motorcycles. Yeah. So I have a Kawasaki Z400. It's nice that it's not too fast, because I'd be reckless.
Is that like the limit you set for yourself, or don't you just, it's just a matter of time before you have bigger?
Yeah, like there has been times, like no hands, or like be a little risky here and there, but it's all in good fun, time and space, but it's taught good lessons along the way, and just like riding with the right people.
So other than that, is there anything like that people wouldn't think? I don't know, like as a business owner, it's like, we are only like, I'm known, or you have this reputation as like a business owner, owning a gym or owning whatever it is, and it's like, you have all these like weird
quirks.
Some people do, some people don't. Some people are just gym, like what they are known as. And then I found anytime I ask that, I've gotten some pretty like, oh, that's, an obscure interest or hobby or anything like that.
No, I think it's cool. I think being mysterious is important. Mm-hmm. I am like aiming towards being like a ninja. So
cool. Yeah. That in itself is just like
those sort of talents. I definitely like work on, or like want to just like aim towards. And I think just like spirituality as a whole, like I think people don't expect in me, because that's maybe like grown more into my lifestyle over COVID, isolating, like reflecting, like, spiritual awakening.
You think that's created like the whole COVID, like just the COVID, I guess, to just say that, has like turned you in a different or turned you on to things you wouldn't have normally?
I think also having toxic people around or experiences that kind of shaped me and like, you know, people I was closest to did me the dirtiest, things like that. I think that made me realize, oh, you know, like what's really important here?
Sure.
What are my values? Like, why am I doing this? You know, things like that. So I think it's important as a female, and I really do care about like feminism rights and different ways to like come out of these like social norms.
Sure.
Just like being able to protect yourself or stand up for yourself and not feel like you have to be quiet or like not say something. But respectfully, like, you know, I would never like share people's dirt. I just think that people need to like really reflect, like, what are you doing with your time? Like, who are you? Right. And like, I just think it's like cool to be out of the box and
just be honest with yourself on and whatever that is. For sure.
So MMA is cool. Motorcycles are cool. Guns are cool. Like, I'm all about that. I did take, my restricted and non-restricted with Sue Roger years ago. So
where?
Here in London.
Is that the one at
they did it at some like
Shoppers?
No, they did it like in some like weird office building, like tucked away behind some other
I've had
places.
so I was so how was that? Like, is it
cool.
a long is it a pretty easy process?
I think it was like 40 hours in person and then testing.
Did you do it over like a weekend, or is it
yeah, but it's helpful. You had to read a whole manual and different things and fill out forms, fill them in, whether you send them in or not. But you know, there's a lot of weirdness behind that, and how things are changing. I just like farm hobbies or things that like maybe most females don't value. I just find to be cool. Like, my dad was a brown belt in judo. He used to teach, cool. And He was just the type of person that told me, you know, if someone hits you, hit them twice as hard, or you be nice until it's time to not be nice.
It's funny because I've heard, like, not to get, but a bullying story about recently, and like having Tatum's turning, you know, she'll be 3 in September, and it's like I'm trying to like, okay, Chris, when can I get in here to like, you know, like, and he
does no-gi. He would be so nice for her.
And just to gain that like confidence, like, I don't know if it's the right outlook to have, and I'm sure I'll evolve from it. Maybe not. Maybe it's what it'll be. But I'm like, in a weird way, I'm like, I want Tatum to, you know, if something happens to her, to be able to like
just self-defense,
defend herself, like, you know. And I see, and when I say that, I'm like, there's this 3-year-old, like not 3-year-old, there's this grade 3-year-old, you know, little boy picking on her on the thing. I want her to be like, ideally, I'd want her to be like, ooh, I know I could kick your ass, but I'm not going to. And if she happens to, then it's like, I'd rather you have that than like, you know, get walked on and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
love and light for sure. Definitely like avoid situations, find ways to work out of it. But you do have to be able to like mediate, like,
just the confidence, right? Like even myself, and like just walking, not that it would take me a lot to be like confrontational, but just like walking around with like a tiny bit of like, for instance, boxing, like fundamentals, it goes a long way for sure.
Like who hasn't been punched in the face or hasn't had something happen to them? I have.
Yeah.
And you know, I've had different crowds, different things I've like evolved through or worked through. It's lessons. Like it's good to be like, no, I know I could actually be okay here.
And those people are probably the ones that have to, you know, be physical or anything the least, you know, because they have that type of like self-control or like self-worth, knowing like, you know, is it really worth it for me to like take your own anger out on yourself? It's like, you're just hitting me because you're upset with, you know, not happy with something in your life or whatever.
Yeah, their ego, they gotta like tame that out and definitely come back to neutral, because that can take over really easy. Like, I've definitely had times where, you know, overconfidence or whatever, because especially as you start going into sparring matches, you have a wake up call. Like, you don't know shit.
I know,
like,
I'm sure.
You don't know shit.
I haven't even got there yet.
Yeah, and don't like protect yourself in the beginning, because you don't know, and if you don't know how to slip or roll, it's not safe.
Yeah,
that's why you get concussions and whatever else. But like, in a nutshell, it is good to know how to strike if someone were to
have even in like sparring and stuff like that. Have you ever like
gassed out? Oh, fuck yeah.
Been hit, like been caught the wrong way, or like something like?
Oh, multiple times, like 2 times. So I've had a couple spar matches that like literally like called it round 2 or even round 1 has happened. Just like spiraling out, literally like catching your breath because someone just hit you wrong.
Sure.
And you're just like, I literally can't breathe right now.
Yeah.
But no, it's good experience. I've definitely had a handful of times that were like sparring or legit, right? Even like I had helped one girl get ready for prospect fight. Mm-hmm. She was badass. She kicked my ass. But now I'm a different person than I was then. And I think now I'm like going in, like I'm a lot more like refined into focusing like what is actually happening here.
Do you have any interest in doing anything like being in a
Mency asked me actually, he wanted me to go to the Montreal Fight League. But I don't have my COVID and all that shit because fuck all that. So
they make you do, well, maybe
standards. I don't have any of it. And I won't. I'd rather go to jail than even deal with that.
Yeah,
in my
opinion.
Agree.
I like.
We'll see what happens. It might lighten out.
Okay, but even so, if that aside, you're like, I'm in. Let's take this journey.
Yeah. Oh, I'm in. No, it'd be a good experience, and like I feel like I'm at a point now where like, yeah, I definitely would need to book in some privates and just like follow up on like where am I at. But I feel like with confidence and things that have happened, and just like them as athletes too, like they also pair people based on like different, what's their background. You're not just thrown in with some like alpha, like, awesome. But yeah, I'm ready to do an amateur fight. Like,
really?
Have
you before?
Just a lot of the sparrings and then just doing stuff on my own. But like, you just get to a point where you're like,
they got to do those like he was telling me about those like exhibition things that they would have sometimes. He
asked me to do. So Mark Hominick asked me to do one of the smoker events. Right.
That's kind of what. Yeah.
But then I was in Miami doing the powerlifting comp on the February, and it was supposed to be for December or January, and I was like, hey, I can't do this one. I'll do the next one because I don't want to be injured for this. Flights are paid. Like I'm going with all my friends like Talise and stuff who are also trainers, but good times. But yeah, I feel like I missed the couple times that I was supposed to kind of come out and just in the timeline. But hey, a year from now, I'll be way more fit.
Yeah, for the better anyway.
Yeah.
Is that Montreal? Is that the one that's on Friday? Or
so Montreal Fight League, like they just randomly have all sorts of things.
But only Montreal?
No, like I feel like it's out of Montreal, but like their prospect is nearby. Like they have different.
Like there's one on March 5th. There's a poster for it downstairs.
Oh, nice. But I don't follow along as much as I could be.
But I feel like it's M. I can't keep track.
You mean the fighter?
No. Like the league that's like it's at the convention center.
Nice. Sweet.
But for some reason I thought it was like it was a M. Maybe not.
No, it might be. I also either way, it's something local.
It's like I know it's like number 5, so it might be if that Montreal one's been around for a while, it might not be that one. It doesn't matter.
Whatever it is, you said Montreal. That's pretty sweet that they're having that.
It's like I think they did. Venue. Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong.
No, that'd be a good spot.
Convention center. I don't know. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's March 5th. And
nice.
Anyways, I was like, it's funny because one of my clients, his guitar coach, is like, I think he's relatively young, and he was like, and he's fighting in it.
Oh yeah.
And like, my client was like, man, like he's just like this super soft spoken kid, like. Again, guitar coach, so you get the like music, and then he tells me he's going into this like amateur fighting, and it's just like
he must be seriously.
I had no idea.
Going, though, like consistently to prep for that.
I know, especially even at an amateur like level, it's like that's all that's it's is feeding it is your own like motivation.
Yeah, I'll have to search who that is. I'm curious, but
he's in that one. But
nice. That's cool. Everyone has their moment.
Yeah, no kidding. So what?
Divine timing.
Yeah. I don't know what I was just going to say.
Oh, it'll come back.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you have any brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I have one brother, and I have a niece and nephew, so that's
nice.
cool. And I'm close with him. I see him every week, sometimes multiple times a week. I try to see my family a lot. Like even my mom, like gotten to a point where I see her almost every day.
They're in town, like locally, yeah.
They're like in the East End too, so it's nice. She'll pop over, or I'll pop over there. I'll have coffee. I'll see my dad at night. Yeah, I value just time, especially knowing how quickly people can be taken from your life, right? And it's really mind blowing, and seeing like people get sick or different things. I'm like, shit, I need to see them.
That's kind of like, I don't know what made me think of this right off that, but one of the concepts we had here was using this space to like, not for, I don't know, you can let me know if you like, the idea was to have families in. So like, you know, if you come in with your parents or say there's two parent, you come with your brother and your mom and dad.
Yeah.
And like there's no I mean, you can record it, but you wouldn't necessarily like label it as a podcast. It's just like a conversation you'd have with your family, recorded and videoed, so that like you could have it as like
to look back at.
Yeah, and like because
cool.
a lot of because the guy that brought it up to me was like, there's a lot of people who don't get to have like longer conversations that are like that you remember can turn back to. So,
totally. Or if you had pre-planned like some questions, they each could like submit some questions and come together. That might be breakthroughs for that family or break their family apart.
Yeah, either one. I guess whatever one's that's what would be meant to be.
I feel like the families that would do that would be like very social, like I feel like
in tune with each other at least. Like,
well, you say that, and then there's like that one introvert person. You're like.
Yeah, but that might give them a time to like speak up too, or like I don't know.
I think it's a good idea though, definitely a good concept, and people would appreciate that if you look at it 10 years later and you're like,
yeah, that's kind of like exactly. It's just like put it away, never look at it until it's like a photo album, but you have this. You might not look until you have your like kids, and some of the one of the coolest things that made this all worth it right off the bat was like I don't know if you saw the one with Tatum. But like, it's pretty funny. And like, it's like this 2-minute conversation. Like, it's just us here. It was at the beginning when it was a test thing. And just like, it was actually the first time I wanted to try and have two people talking into mics.
Sweet.
So I did it. But like, even that, it was just so natural. And like that in itself, if all this fails, it's cool enough to have that like 2-minute video that like I'll just have forever. So I can only imagine like soul. Yeah, right. Yeah. Like I watch it, it'll never get old. But and in the same respect to all these other conversations that are like being had, it's like even the other day I thought about it, I was like, I've had like if there's 10 of these that are like full conversations and like episodes with people, it's like that would be 10 2-hour conversations or 30-minute conversations that I would have never had otherwise. So
and now we're like, you can relate to people differently, and like if you take one nugget from that conversation and apply to your life, like that's a game changer.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
No, I think that's cool. I think that's really great with Tatum. I definitely would like a kid one day when like it aligns. Yeah. So I think that's cool.
One or like you want like
I would have as many as like God
would make work. Yeah.
But one would be excellent. Like I would be totally okay with just one and like not trying for another. But if like a partner was like, no, like I want a family, I would just like crank them out.
Yeah. It's like I wouldn't change anything. It's definitely like the best thing in the world. It's it's like even for you obviously, and then everyone like it's just like this. It's like this unlimited motivation that just like doesn't go away. So
I love that.
That in itself is
It allows you to evolve as a person and to be more present and like look at like what's happening here and like
you have to
step back. Instead of being aggressive or bringing out all these other toxic, generational curses that might have been applied before. You got to break that.
Yeah, definitely.
Be the person to be like, no, I'm gonna like go to their level and like talk to her about her emotions.
For sure. Yeah, no, that's exactly it. And like even now she's slowly starting to become like like just expressing herself more and like so I can only.
That's a fun age. I used to teach at the Little Gym and work with 3-year-olds with gymnastics, dance, and sports.
Really, over in Hyde Park?
Yeah, but I mostly worked the South one. But then they had 2 locations, and then I did a few shifts there, and then I was just like, it was at the time I was more. So
South. What is that? What is the Little Gym? Because
it's just for kids,
and it's like a.
It's like you sign up
gymnastics
for a
type of thing.
Yeah, you'll like teach them how to do like forward rolls, handstands, like bar work.
How old can they start going? Can she go there yet?
0.
Really?
Yeah, or I think it's like a few months. But yeah, they have like a baby program or whatever, and then till 2 years old, and then they 3 to 6.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, it's once a week. It's totally amazing.
Is that like the one you'd say is the Little Gym?
Yeah, check them out. It's Sherwood Forest Mall is where it is. And then it's like you'd be like Wednesdays at 6 p.m. and that'd be like the only time you bring her. You could watch in the foyer.
But it's not at the Good Life, is it?
It's on the other side of the mall.
Really?
Yeah, I know, right? It's kind of like if you drive to the back, you can park there and walk through, and it's right there.
Oh,
yeah, it's weird.
Over by the beer store.
Yeah,
or whatever. I think there's one back there.
No,
right?
It is. I believe so too, actually.
So there's not one on Hyde Park. I swear there's one.
Well, I just feel like when you say Hyde Park, to me it feels like Hyde Park. Like it's Gainsborough. And then like
Yeah, but I'm thinking of...
maybe you're thinking something else.
But you say you're the one you're talking about at Sherwood Mall.
It's at Sherwood Mall.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's the same owners. They just have one now.
But maybe the one I thought about closed. It doesn't matter. Yeah, because now it's like I want to, again, getting back to the incorporating different aspects of boxing, and obviously that's like a little bit more down the line for her, but we signed her up for soccer. Like she's got a soccer ball kicking around, and
it's nice with soccer because they have the team, they can meet some friends, it's running around, and then they can use that like in public school.
Yeah.
What, is she in public school or like what?
No, she's in daycare right now. So luckily, as she, I think it was right when she turned 1. She's been in daycare
great.
5 days a week. It's like one of my old clients' wife has like an at-home one, so it's like 5. At the time, it was just 5 little girls. I think there's a boy there now, but it's 5
That's
kids,
really
and it's like,
awesome.
and we got super lucky, like with that, and she's amazing. Like we get, a midday like update and then pictures every day of like what they're doing. So she's been like, I've noticed just so much how she social and like
her conversation must be more advanced too.
It is like you can see like day to day the stuff she picks up there, and so luckily she's been there and will until I guess like.
Are you doing public school or French immersion or Catholic? What are you thinking?
Know.
Oh.
I don't know. Yeah, no.
I'll really do private or like homeschool if I have a child, only because of like I'm like just
I don't know. Like it's
part of it.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean like those are different things you have to take into consideration that like you did, and I don't know like.
But when I think back to my public school experience, I had a great experience. I went to like Wilton Grove and Laurier and Beale. So like for me, like I chilled with all of the people who of all demographics.
I grew up in Windsor, but I went
family's from there.
Really?
Yeah. My family actually, my mom and dad met at my dad was a ref at a disco club, and she was rollerblading. And that's
no way. What one? Do you know?
I don't know.
Do you remember what it's called? I bet you I know exactly where that is.
Oh, really? I don't know if they're still open. Are they?
No, I don't think they are. I mean, there's probably more than one, but like I'm sure most of those have. So yeah, she's able to be in daycare, and like we get kind of that regular school. Like it's as far as she's concerned, it's just school. But
that's great. You both can step away for a bit and have her like in school.
Luckily,
it does help.
Even like during COVID, when schools were shut down, she was still going. So we are super lucky that way. But
you need to have moments for yourself.
Yeah, and then I went to a Catholic high school.
Oh, really?
Which like I don't think necessarily made a difference for me per se. I'm not a religious person, nor was my family. So it was kind of just like.
Why did they put you in it then?
I think it was just a better. I don't know if the public school that I would have gone to. I think it was a little bit more rough around the edges type of thing. Like I don't know if that's necessarily a proper depiction of like Catholic versus public.
Maybe
it might
just
be
more systemized, or more like I feel like people who might put them in that might take more attention to their children about values. Maybe
yeah, for sure. I don't know. No, that could be because I didn't come from that background of like getting values instilled in me. Not that, but like from a Catholic background, and that like it was probably maybe a better environment to be in, and on top of that, like. A lot of my friends that I hung out with were going there.
Oh, so, that's a huge factor.
So the fact that it probably didn't make a big difference, those factors were enough to go. I don't know. I liked it. It was awesome.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Yeah, no, I don't know what, but all the Catholic side of everything, I didn't like. It was like
you weren't like into. Or
no, it's like Mom, there's mass today. She's like, "Okay, I'll call for you."
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if that's like
you're not alone.
I'm
there's
sure
so
some
many
people, but like
no,
right.
There's
like,
a lot of people that were not about it and like went, but like whatever, just like
it
made you who you are.
Yeah, totally. But I don't know what. That's a good question. What like to have to put some thought into? Yeah, we do. It's kind of scary because in a year we'll have to pick where she's going, and then it's like. Fuck, before then we want to like move to the right spot where she wants to be going, and it's like I don't know.
Some of them though, like if you're doing like a French immersion or something, like they have buses.
Yeah,
but I don't know if you want to even go.
I think Jade went to she was, but it's kind of like that.
How are you gonna do the homework?
Yeah, no, and either of us like I don't know if not to throw under the bus, but I don't know how much of like unless you follow through with it, probably in like university or anything like that, like. as
like
with
transferable,
any,
you mean.
as any information in like high school, how much does that really like, let
and
alone
even their
grade
math
school
is different, like with French immersion.
Yeah, I didn't even get English math, so like I don't know how. Like,
Yeah. But it's just like funny to think of that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah. What else? You got anything else? Probably like
I don't know. Decision making.
Yeah.
No, I just think my ideal is just like work less, work smart, like be creative, focus on like my own self-development so that other people around me can like.
But that's like had to have only come, like I say that from my, like there's probably only a time and a place where you can start thinking that way. Like, especially for growing a business, it's like for an undefined amount of time, it's kind of just like work. And then those like realities of being able to think that way start presenting themselves as like the business evolves and like
totally. I feel like most of the time I work, I don't even feel like I'm working. Like look at my calendar, and it's like full. I'm like, that's an awesome day. Like I actually genuinely feel like that. I'll be like, sick. I actually get to talk to this person. I want to follow up with this. Whereas like before, maybe like 3 years ago, my mentality was not like that. Where it felt like, oh my god, I got this appointment. Oh my god, because you're burnout.
That's like, even like hours. I think that's what like gets me with even the client, like that clients did that to me.
Yeah.
I think,
they did.
It's like I could be, have 6 clients in a day and just like that be painful to think about. But I could have, 12 hours straight of like just random stuff here and there and there and there. And at the end of the day, you're like, wow, that was the best day ever. And it's like you're twice as busy as you would with clients. But
I just feel like when you're back to back like that, when you have those people, it's just like the same conversation. It's monotonous. You're moving the weights, you're waiting. You're also like social working them as they tell you their entire life.
Mostly, yeah. Right.
So I try to like when I work with a client, I barely talk about personal ever. I try if they bring it up, I'll touch base on it momentarily, let them talk, and then I'll stream it to somewhere else. Because in my head, I'm like, you're draining. Yeah. And you're not focused on what you're doing at task right now, right? Yeah. So I'll try to like keep it all health oriented, and then I don't have to cross those boundaries because easily people can also, as a female, people take it the wrong way, or you're too friendly, or whatever. And I'm like, I'm actually just being myself.
Yeah, I can totally see that. Yeah.
So I think that's also like stepping back from coaching.
Do you find like what is the trainer schedules and like in your gym? Like, are your trainers working 10 hours a day, like back to back? Like,
no, I feel like most of the people have a handle right now where they're just kind of like working 6 hours a day, 7 hours a day in splits. Often. Yeah. But some of them do have, expectations of themselves. Hey, I'm going to be 5 to 5 only, or I'm going to do 10 to 8 only. Yeah, when I coached, I really did enjoy more of the evenings and just like packing 1 to 9, stuff like that.
Did you? Yeah. So what, you'd still have like eight clients in a row type of thing?
No, I would never. I would only really do 4 or 5 in a row. Yeah. I've done like 6 in a row. I've had those, and you just feel like shit. Yeah. You're like, why did I do that? Just to accommodate one person, to get that extra buck or help them.
Do you find that like those did you have a time where your trainers were like working? Because I guess
sun up to sundown kind of thing.
Yeah, is it different? Like your trainers are working for you, and I say this right, like
they're employed now. I do have like a couple contract employees still left that don't want to resign. I've given them options, pros and cons both. I feel like as I've just like gone to the scalability, it's just easier just to have them employed because I don't want to feel the headache of explaining this, that I've been sued a few times, I've had different employees. Like I have no problem like getting rid of people who show their colors again and again and again. And there's only so many things you can really do. So I just feel like it almost protects us more having them employed, so I can go away the way that they want us to. And then it also allows you to, with the government, like different grants or opportunities or things that you can say you're doing.
Did a bunch of your trainers start that way, and then you kind of transition them over? Or is like as some
all
left,
were contracts.
All of them,
all of them.
And then you like pitched, hey, let's come here, let's switch this, and they were all down for it.
Exactly.
More or less.
As like COVID kind of came out of COVID and different lessons that I learned over time, I just transitioned to hiring because with the way that the business run, it just made more sense.
Was there hesitation on their end?
Yeah, for some of them, that's why I left allowed to present the 2 proposals and just say, hey, do you want to do this or do you want to do this? Because on their point of view, it's like, okay, well then you don't have to take advantage of these additional hours or this benefits, or as we're evolving, like you won't have that.
Yeah.
And it's different things with taxes, different things with responsibilities. It's just like trying to get everyone in unity of like what our mission statement is, and then kind of taping away from, or like moving yourself away from people that don't align to that.
Interesting. Yeah. Cause I don't know how I can, as I move from more like of a wellness facility / private, like with the memberships and only have 50 members and then the trainers, it's like I slowly start to see the benefit to potentially having them all under one roof. And like I've had like if in the past, if trainers are like super hesitant about departing where they're at and coming as a contracted and just paying a rent and taking cover for that, I've been like, hey, like come under Showtime, we'll scale things up as you grow, or if you don't, then you're not stressed about this and that. But that was more trying to facilitate them growing, not necessarily like looking out for like having everyone under the like the Showtime umbrella. But
it's just hard to pivot because it is a lot of like paperwork and things, and then your whole processing is different, and then it's almost like they're expecting, they're like, what is my role? Like, what am I doing here? Right? So then there's more heat on you to be like, hey, these are your expectations. I'm going to have a weekly meeting with you. Blah, blah, blah.
Like, how do you, and that kind of brings it full circle to like, have you had conversations with people like, man, you're working, trainer, you're working 10 hours, 12 hours a day. Like, is this right type of thing? And it's like,
for sure, I've definitely had like team meetings or like one-on-one conversations, because they are like my friends now at this point. Like they're very like neutral, same age group, like everyone has different backgrounds, which is so cool because I respect everyone in their own light. But yeah, like you have to get to a point where you're like, you shouldn't be working more than 6 or 7 hours a day. Like you're literally gonna not be, because
it's hard to tell someone. Like I imagine it would be hard to like convince someone out of, at the end of the day, taking less money home.
Yeah, like 20 grand a year, that's a big chunk for some people to not do those extra 20
for sure, especially when, I don't know, like, if rates are anywhere from, say, $50 to $100, like, when you dangle clients in front and, like, those extra hours, it's like, even for myself today, I had this conversation with myself, or even with Jay, I think I was talking aloud, and she's like, well, why don't you just take the client? I'm like, yeah, like I don't want to get into that slope of just adding clients because it's worth it. But I like, then
all your other jobs like won't get done. Like Showtime won't evolve on the outside if you want to make.
So there's like that, there's that give and take to like make it. I could easily have a 7, 8, 9 and be able to do all my other shit during the day. But come like 2 months from now, where I'm like, I can do so much more from like 7, 8, 9. And then you're like, I don't know.
And then you're just, but if when you add it up though, you're like, wow, that could go into a funding for Tatum.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, that's a lot in a year times 18 or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, she's set.
No. I mean, no one's ever set really, but it's like, just constantly growing and like, battling what you want to do.
My mental health and my clarity is the utmost importance. Like my study time and my meditation is high priority to me. I instantly will like just block my calendar off. Someone like, I'm just one to just say it straightforward. Like, sorry, can't do it. Can't see. I'm busy for 3 days.
Had you done that before?
What?
Just like the whole like mental awareness of yourself, and like, have you always been like that?
With like because my old business partner, we were together, and which he was on here, which is super sweet. But like you're allowed to stand up and like say what you're okay with on either end, and any employee, it's like no different, right? Like human rights, like you can have mental health days, or you can just say like, I have other projects going on. Because like you're saying, I also want to work on in the long scheme of things, also making like affirmation decks, or even just like study card decks. A few things that would be a little bit different than like the norm. I put my own twist on it. But things that will like help people, like actually like center their energy. So whatever work they're doing through day to day, like they can perform better.
Yeah, for sure.
People need to be inside of like what they're like, just outside their comfort, like just a little bit.
Totally. Yeah. And it's like, even, that's it. I think that's super valuable. I mean, any time where you're outside of your comfort zone and like and then kind
You're
of
learning.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially once you're on the other side of it, or like, even if it's like small day to day, even this kind of stuff, like not necessarily because of recording or anything like that. It's just like you're always hesitant to like do something new with someone new, and it's like, but afterwards it's like, man, I feel, if I was a 4 out of 10 before, it's like I'm a 12 out of 10 after. And it's like every single time you come back to that hesitation, like doing it. And then, every single time, like clockwork, you're like, fuck, I feel twice as good as I would have, like, and
it's putting the reps in. Like, definitely practice does make everything better, and just like sticking your guns, like just going for it. Like, our primal brain, right? It's like normal for humans to be like, oh, it's new, I don't like that. And it's like, no, like try it. Make it a thing, and you're gonna start liking it.
For sure. I guess maybe I'll try and like, I need something like that. Something, I'm preaching to the choir, I'm sure, but just like something that's allows me to just be less busy upstairs. It's not like busy, like it's not.
Oh no, like our brain wants
busy,
to think of
like,
the negative. Like that's the reoccurring pattern that we're wired so that we take action, right?
Yeah,
so I think it's important just to unwind that subconscious and just be like, no more. I'm gonna start like saying powerful words. Yeah, like mantras are real. Like as soon as you catch yourself, just start being like,
I listen to this, and I don't know, is there any like is there any for what you're doing or other aspects of what you're doing, is there any room for like psychedelic type of like
I've done all
stuff like that in it, like
drugs, drinking, whatever. If you're into DMT or acid
stuff
or
like that, like
mushrooms,
I've never done either of that, and like
really?
I don't know if that's like, I don't mean to
I
like
have.
ask you if you have or not, but like I just listened to this thing where that was what, someone does that a couple times a year, and it seems to like
reset, right? Yeah, mushrooms are definitely beneficial and have a lot, the whole idea of what the world even is just like,
totally. And mushrooms, it's like
really.
I do enjoy, and like I haven't gone to the like DMT route yet, but and I don't know, maybe never will, maybe I will, yearly, but it's definitely like the best thing that comes from it is that like reset. So
I think it just lets people like drop their ego or look at things differently, especially if you're doing too much, you get a little scared, or could be, a little sick for days, whatever. But yeah, finding a balance. I don't do that now.
It's not really, like a micro dose thing. Like, it's like,
I feel like if it was the right time and place, it's funny that you mentioned that. I had it once, never actually did it. I had it sit in a drawer for months, and I was like, you know what? I'm worried about it. I think it was from a salvia trip that made me pretty out of this world that I did not like. So I feel like I was comparing to that, and just like personal reviews from people. I'm like, well, I think this might be next level. You want to see the 5D? Here we go.
Yeah. That's interesting.
But no, like I think like time and place for everything. There's nothing wrong with microdosing mushrooms. I know a lot of people that do, who are completely functional and happier than they've ever been. I haven't done probably mushrooms in like 2 years, but
it's probably been
cool.
I don't know. I guess once like you deem, maybe the right time will be like once COVID's like deemed over.
I would do it at home with one person with you.
That's what I'm like too. It's just
make sure you don't like drown or anything crazy like that.
What, DMT or mushrooms?
Well, no, like you don't know what you're gonna like do, right? You just want to make sure someone's like kind of a safety net, or at least on the same edge with you, and you tell one person, like, hey, by the way, if I call you, maybe call
talk me out of whatever, like,
or come check on me.
Because so you said you don't drink. Is that always? Have you always been like that, or you just don't like?
I feel like that's more new. I feel like it just like kind of like takes away your high energy frequency.
Yeah, I'm the same, and it's not because not for any reason. It's like luckily it doesn't fit into my interests or schedules, like
it brings me to like, it can have some good times, time and place. I have tons of friends that do it. I used to be a big partier. I used to like be all about, lifestyle, going downtown, having a time. I think we all have like shaped us, but I've just like gotten to a point now where I'm like, I don't want to be sick. I want to work out tomorrow. I don't want to be inflamed.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
But I do, glass of wine would be nice. Or a beer is so delicious. Like just going to Powerhouse and having a beer and just having conversation can be powerful.
Yeah, definitely. Coffee, for sure. I mean, it's just, what at the end of the day, that's probably just another like just stress reliever. Not to say like people like us, but like people who have, I don't know. It's the only thing I can relate to is like, being a business and like having those, day-to-day things. That's anything to like not distract you from it, but allow you to like take your mind off it.
Yeah.
It
It vibes you down. Like it levels you out, right? And if you're having one or two and like connecting with someone, you can be like deeper with them, because if you're having water and they're having beer, they're gonna start feeling awkward, and then you're not on the same energy vibe, right?
Definitely.
So like sometimes if I'm having a meet with someone or I know that they're more casual about that, I'll participate or have one so that it levels out like the feels.
What's Powerhouse is right down there too, right? I haven't been there.
Oh, really? You should go. Well, I used to have my house there, so which I
close
sold.
To it?
Yeah, I could walk, so it was a little dangerous.
Yeah,
and London Brewing Co-op and Anderson's. They're all cool people.
Are they all within the same
walking?
But they're not the same facility?
No, they're all different. Yeah. And then they have like Stormstay and Forked River and like a few others, because I used to do those brewery boot camps.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did. I remember seeing all that. Yeah, that was all. So you don't
so
I guess
drink
COVID.
A lot then.
Yeah.
Yeah, COVID. I feel like it's seasonal. I was doing them when it was almost too cold and was just trying to like keep it going, because it did have a lot of like chatter about, or like they'd have people, the owners would actually connect to me and be like, hey, can you run one? And then I would just do it because it was also fun. I'd be like, sweet, I get like a free beer, like members, I get to actually hang out with them, meet a couple new leads that joined the gym. There's a lot of coordination and stuff, and I think just like times change.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe in the summer I'll run like 3 events, like just do one. Tim from London Brew Co-op always follows up with me.
Cool. Nice.
Actually talked to me yesterday.
Nice.
Shout out Tim. If anyone wants any gym equipment, let me know.
That's where's that? That's
he just has some stuff in his house that he wants to sell out. He sent me a message yesterday.
What's he got?
What does he have? He has like, I think it was like plate, squat rack, bench, all sorts of just like basic stuff. But he's like, yeah, I'm piecing this out if you know anyone. And I was like, oh, well, now he's getting full.
You never know. Yeah, like that's hilarious.
So shoot me up on Instagram or something, and I'll give you Tim's contact.
That's funny. Yeah, that's funny, because you never know. Even when we were talking about you guys hiring at the gym, you mentioned that someone had mentioned that they heard about the job offering via the HQ, this conversation,
really?
podcast.
Sick.
So
I know, small world. It's funny how everything just kind of like interconnects.
Yeah,
that's sweet. The Matrix.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. I don't know. Do you have anything? What else? Anything
that's it
big?
in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Like I just like my focus is just keep doing school and just like evolving as a person and just being like a better boss.
What's the duration of school? Is it a couple years? Really?
Well, if it was full time, it would have been a 3A to get my bachelor's of theology. But I'm doing it part time in Hamilton
cool.
come September, so it'll just be like some back and forth and stuff. But I'm looking forward to it, and I'd be fine with it taking 7 or 8 years, because it's not like I'm going for a job, right?
Yeah,
it's just like it's already the job. Now it's just applying,
developing yourself.
Yeah. And I also do want to like kind of create new ways to make passages into real life scenarios where you could have a conversation or an example piece with someone and not have them know it's like, Samuel, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So that's an idea of too, is like writing them all into like really, really short new age scripts instead of this strange names, hard to depict.
Totally.
So, yeah. So that's cool.
Talking about like, not necessarily that, but you mentioned the cards. Another idea that spawned from this is like, maybe you can suggest something after, but I haven't, the last couple I haven't done it too much. But I was like, what's a cool, like, not that I have hard time, like, I think in the environment here and like just the whole setup, it's like a super natural, comfortable environment. But I was like, it'd be cool if I could create almost like a deck.
Yeah, people love games, and decks have been around for
a deck of questions that over like, say, from podcast 5 to podcast 100, if we can at the end of each podcast, or like in result of each podcast, we can generate one question that like sums up or like makes you think or like sparks a good conversation, so that there could be this deck at the end of say 100 podcasts, and each one has this like super meaningful or silly or like intriguing, something that like sparks interest or thoughtful or silly conversations.
Yeah,
but it's like pulled
for them
from
to
each,
finish with,
just
kind of like Hot Ones.
No, so it'd be something, I don't really know. It'd be like, I just think it'd be cool for a way. So it kind of gets tied back into the family sitting around the table. So if that family sitting around the table had a deck of these like really thoughtful conversation starting
Starters.
questions,
Yeah.
that wasn't just like, okay, let's think of like 50 questions that will be good to start conversations. All
This
these,
is just organically
all like,
choosing.
what would our, question be that like
Oh.
we like, it's pure, I don't know. You'd have to think, or maybe you don't think too hard about it. Like the one thing, like meditating, like it could be something to do with like self, improvement or development. It's like whatever question, like, what do you, it doesn't have to be, you could probably get it more authentic than like, what do you do for self improvement or development? But something, that,
No, that's a great
I think it would
idea.
be
I
cool,
think
and it's just
useful.
like pure. It's really generic, or not generic. It's authentic in the sense that like all these questions come from a conversation that was like
Right.
had between two people, and
Yeah, it's
depending
like summary.
on
Like what is your final, thesis there?
question,
Yeah.
and so I don't know. That's like one thing that I thought would be cool, and I got to keep up with it though, because I haven't been taking time to like think of meaningful question,
Right.
one single meaningful question that summarizes or gives a thoughtful idea from the per se podcast.
No, it's a great idea for sure, and it's something you can just reflect on and apply later. And
Totally.
it's cool.
So, we should come on again with like
Nice.
a group of people. Like I've been wanting to do like, even if you have someone that is like,
I know a lot of contacts.
you meet along the line. I don't know, whatever, like see where your journey is in 6 months or whatever, 2 months, or like, cause I feel like people that I want to have a spot where like people that would like to have their own or just see the benefit in like conversing with people and like having it back, and like, cause you're also forced to have a completely different conversation than the first one you had or I had with anyone.
You're on the spot. Like you're forced to be like, okay, like you're watched right now.
Yeah, and it's like, you can't talk
answer.
about, it can't be the same conversation just because like, naturally we've already talked about it. So
it's great.
Wherever it is, and like I think that would be cool to have returning people bring someone that like, again, it's relevant at the stage of their life that they're in at the time, or
I'll send you someone good.
Okay,
I'll
yeah.
bring someone good with me.
Okay, awesome. Okay,
I got a lot of them.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks.
Always
Awesome.
welcome.
Yeah, I'll
Okay,
be around.
see ya.